My company has worked with 100 plus entrepreneurs across literally every single niche that you can imagine. Every single person that has the highest amount of success, and I mean $1 million a month plus, has 5 things in common. And time again, we've tried and tested our systems. There's only 5 things that predict whether or not an entrepreneur is going to be successful and make fuck you money. In this video, I'm going to be telling you exactly what those 5 things are. The first thing that we need to discuss is focus. Every single entrepreneur that we've seen that has the best results in our program, that literally makes the most amount of money, focuses on one business. They have one offer, one funnel that they mainly focus on, and they do not compromise. A lot of business owners we see subconsciously switch their priorities. If you ask them what their vision is for their business one week and you ask them the same question another week, they're going to give you 2 completely different answers. These entrepreneurs have a fixed vision. They're laser focused when it comes to achieving that vision, and it stays static for years. And because of this, they don't need to change their offers. They don't need to change their funnels. And best of all, they don't need to change their businesses. It's just a function of time at the end of the day. The amount of time that they spend on the businesses, the funnels, the offers, and how long they run these for is what actually yields them the results, because they launch early, they value speed over perfection. And so instead of saying, oh, the offer doesn't work or the funnel doesn't work, the business doesn't work, they fix their shit over time and they actually scale. Now, when it comes to focus, there's 2 main routes that you can take, right? So there's first the micro, right? When it comes to like how they work hour by hour, and there's the macro. Right? What we were talking about up here when it comes to the one business, one funnel, one offer thing is more of a macro concept. Let's talk about the micro. When it comes to micro, these entrepreneurs do deep work, right? They do deep work usually early in the morning, but most of them, they do it all day. And when I mean deep work, I mean they focus on hits, right? So a hit in our company means a high impact task. A high impact task either gets you more customers, so like it gets customers, it makes them work more, so it increases your LTV, or it increases the enterprise value of the business. These are the only things that can qualify as hits in our company. While other entrepreneurs that we work with have hits on the top of their list, like they still do hits, and these entrepreneurs make a decent amount of money. The best entrepreneurs that we work with only do hits. They only work on the highest impact tasks. And they're so ruthless about actually calculating what will get them the most amount of customers, increase the LTV of their customers. And for those of you that don't know, lifetime value means how much money you're going to extract out of a customer over the length of time that that customer stays with you. And they ruthlessly calculate if it's actually going to boost the actual value of their business in the event of an exit or whatever it is. The calculations that they make are ruthless, and they only work on these things every single day. And because of this very interesting fact, we see a huge variance on how much entrepreneurs work. Some entrepreneurs that are at this level like working a lot. They work 10 hours, 11 hours, 12 hours. We have a system called the CAB system, where these entrepreneurs can one-on-one work with an accountability coach that can keep them accountable on their hits every single minute of the hour. Some of them do 10, 11, 12. Other entrepreneurs only do 4 or 3. But one thing that we see is they only focus on hits. On the macro, as I said before, the business always stays the same. The model barely ever changes. The offer is always singular, and they usually don't switch acquisition systems either. This is also a very interesting thing that they're doing cold outreach, and we'll talk a little more about what actual acquisition system most of these people use. But their acquisition system really doesn't change. If they've stuck to one thing, if they've stuck to cold email, they're going to stick to it for a year, 2 years, 3 years. They're not going to go from one to the other to the next. Their ad copies, a lot of the times, the frameworks that they use, the sales systems, just nothing changes. It's so fascinating how static their business remains while it scales. And they rarely ever switch. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to focus better, we have a free 6-week focus challenge that we're running here at Compass, where over the next 6 weeks, we will give you one-on-one professional accountability and a whole bunch of other stuff. We're going to be starting the next challenge soon, and there's limited spots available. If you want to reserve your spot, go ahead and click on the link down below, and it will take you to a form that you can fill out, and we'll send you more information. The second thing is actually the simplicity of the systems that we were speaking about. So simplicity is actually an exponent that you can add to literally anything in your business. This is at least what I've learned from them. Whenever something is simple, let's say you have a sales script. Okay, we're going to put an SS here. Hopefully it doesn't resemble something that it isn't. But this SS here is a sales script. Let's just write it out. If this sales script is simple, right? If it's simple, it's going to be easier to teach, it's going to be easier to implement. It's basically going to hold up as the business scales. If it's complicated, if there's complexity in the sales script, it's not going to hold up as time goes on. It's going to be harder to teach, so on and so forth. And it's these little things that as you scale make the biggest difference. How complicated your SOPs are, how simple your onboarding process is. It's all about friction, right? They minimize friction when it comes to literally anything and everything in their business. And sometimes they prioritize minimizing friction over actually making their product better, which is very interesting because fundamentally, we've seen that the best companies are literally product focused. They focus on the product at hand, at the core of the business, and they try to make it as good as possible. But these entrepreneurs focus more on lowering the friction because they understand that as the business scales, they're going to be able to impact more people if the friction is lower. And so they make that trade-off. They make that sacrifice when they lower friction and they actually increase the impact that they have with their businesses overall. And I'll tell you something, I was surprised at a lot of these people's headlines. Like this is, we'll get into the funnel in the next point, but I was surprised at how simple a lot of these people's processes were. There was one entrepreneur who was running a call funnel and he literally had a sales framework that was one page. One page. And if you looked at it, you'd be like, wow, this is what your salespeople, this is what your closers are using to close people. Like it's surprising. And one entrepreneur literally replaced their whole onboarding process with a simple video. Stuff like that, and they didn't change the video for God knows how long. It was all simple. It was flowy. You could write their customer journey all the way from unknown to, whatever the hell, right? Unknown to take my money. You could write that all out within 5 steps. That's how simple their funnels were. Speaking of funnels, the third thing is that every single one of these entrepreneurs had a high ticket funnel. This is very important. Most of them were service-based, few of them are SaaS businesses, but almost all of them sold high-ticket services. So high-ticket, for those of you that don't know, are $10,000 plus over the lifetime value of the customer. But these can also range, between 30 and 80 grand. Like there's a huge range, right? But usually high-ticket is between $10,000 and $100,000. Then you have ultra high ticket, which is, $100,000 and beyond. I personally haven't had experience like working with people that sell ultra high ticket, but every single person that I've worked with that makes fuck you money, as I've told you before, has a high ticket funnel. Now for these high ticket funnels, usually it's like a payment plan over 6 months to 1 year, whatever the hell it is. But as I mentioned before, overall, the amount of value, the amount of money that they extract from their customers is usually at least $10,000 to $15,000. The fourth thing that they all had in common was that they all ran call funnels. So their high ticket offers that they had, the simple funnels that they ran, they all had a VSL to a call funnel. Now, whether they had a 1 call or a 2 call close deferred, but at the end of the day, it's still a call funnel. Basically how a VSL to call funnel runs, it's very simple. It's basically you have the headline at the top, basically says what you do. Then you have the little sub headline. Then you have a video. And this video does most of the selling. And then you have a button down here that says book a call. Right? So the whole point of the video sales letter, the VSL, is to get them to book a call. Now, this call can either be 15 minutes where you actually qualify if you have a lot of volume coming into the VSL. If your VSL is shorter, usually the call is shorter and it's usually taken by the appointment setter. And the appointment setter essentially qualifies the prospect, makes sure that they're actually, in pain, that you actually have a, service to provide to them that, will solve a problem for them. Or this call can also span around 45 minutes. Now, if this call is 45 minutes, usually the 15-minute call routes to the 45-minute call, but the 45-minute call is basically where you sell them the high-ticket service. This combined with the high ticket, combined with the simplicity, combined with the focus is literally like the formula. And the last thing that I have to say is just paid ads. They all run paid ads. I have not seen one exception of an entrepreneur that makes a good amount of money that isn't running paid ads. These are usually on Meta. Some entrepreneurs have cold outreach systems, but most of them are running Meta paid ads. They make a whole bunch of creatives. They have a simple system that they use time and time again to churn out ads with different hooks, with different bodies. They make sure that their ads aren't fatigued. They keep running these ads over and over again, and they just focus on this. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Those are the 5 things. If you like the video, subscribe. Check out some of the other videos. If not, peace out.